everybody out there.
Hey, everybody.
Listener land. This is going to be episode 9.
Wow.
And I said episode 8 last time, but actually with all these 0.5s we're doing with On Location, we're up to like 16 or something officially.
0.5s don't really matter.
No, they don't. They're just fun little things
just,
for you guys to consume and enjoy, you know?
Content.
I mean, everybody out there who's watching and or listening.
So we have a number 9 today.
Number 9.
Very exciting.
Little gray day.
And then we'll probably have a couple more 0.5s in between.
Yeah, we're going to do
then
more
we'll
on
celebrate
location.
with a 10.
Yeah. Oh, 10th is going to be a celebration.
Yeah.
We got a lot to cover on this episode. Wanted to start off with congratulating a brewery. So at the Canadian Brewing Awards, they just recently won a couple weekends ago Best New Brewery of the Year.
Shit.
In Canada.
Wow.
Of Canada.
That's pretty impressive.
The award goes to Bickford Brewing Company.
Oh, yeah. Congrats, dudes.
Congrats, Andrew and the team at Bickford. Great beer. Christy and I went there a couple weekends ago.
Nice.
It was actually the weekend they won. And I met Andrew when we were judging for the Canadian Brewing Awards. So this is the Grodzisky. And it's
everybody knows I love that. Yeah.
It's a smoke beer, so it's Jamie's favorite.
Smoke in the beer.
Smoke in the beer, liquid in my mouth. Sometimes I just want like a surface yellow. I don't need a deep purple, you know? Just like surface red, surface yellow is fine. It's a collab with Lovebird Beer, and they're a new brewery out of Meaford, which is a beautiful area right on the Georgian Bay. It's great. Nice. This is a light beer. It's 3.7%, which is right in the range for Grodzisky.
Perfect. Get into it.
Pour a little bitski. Boop, boop. Grodzisky, pour a little bitski.
Yeah.
Should we have started with margaritas? I don't know.
We did start with margaritas.
Nobody knows we started with margaritas. So, margarita.
Beer all the time is for losers.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, Bickford.
Congrats, Bickford. Ooh, I can already smell that smokiness.
Nice. Yeah, very subtle smoke, but nice weedy body.
Oh, that's really nice. I love because smoked malt can go a really long way, and we talked about this on a previous episode where there's all kinds of different malts you can use that are smoked. There's cherry wood, beech wood, then there's that
oak smoked.
That oak smoked wheat malt, which is
probably what that is.
100% oak smoked wheat. And subtle is really where you want to go with some smoked beers, unless you make like a smoked Scotch ale.
You're a psychopath like me, and you just want a charred brisket in your mouth.
Yeah, hey, I love that too.
Liquid charred brisket.
There's nothing better than choking down some barbecue with a smoked lager.
Yeah,
like or like this. If I had some prime, if I had anything to cook for barbecue right now,
because then you could crush a bunch of them and do a slower barbecue.
Yeah.
Slow rip on the
that's
barbecue.
really nice. That's really nice.
These guys use all Canadian ingredients too exclusively, right?
Yeah, it's one of Andrew from Bickford's goals is to use all Canadian ingredients. He's very strong on that, and that's great. It's exactly what we need in the industry at this time in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And really great beer. Bickford is...
Canada's not for sale.
Elbows up!
Nor our ingredients.
Yeah.
Nice.
Bickford is located, actually, we used to live in the area. We lived at College and Spadina for just over a year. And the Bickford Dog Park is one of Luna's favorite dog parks. Funny story, we went to Bickford a couple weekends ago just to check it out. And dogs being really good with their smell, we get off, we took transit there. So we got off, we started walking towards it. And she just started pulling towards, she doesn't usually pull when she doesn't know where she's going. She started pulling towards the park. She's like, I smell where we're going. And she knows we took her ball and her chuck it thing. So she's like, oh, I know where we're going.
Nice.
We haven't been there in like over 2 years.
Yeah,
but it's like,
a great park.
Yeah, really nice park. The brewery is dog friendly. You can bring your dogs in there.
Ought to be.
Yep.
Ought to be.
And
you said it was collab too, right?
Yeah, so Lovebird.
Or this specific beer is a
This specific beer is a collab, yeah.
Yeah.
The X Series. That's their, when you see their X Series cans in their brewery in the fridge, you know that's a collab. And yeah, with Lovebird, that is from Meaford. And it's a newer brewery, I think. Yeah, in Meaford. It's a very small town. Yeah, so congrats to Bickford, and keep doing what you're doing, and maybe we'll pop in there, do an on location, and do an interview, and maybe maybe do a collab or something.
Yep,
we'll see.
Super fun.
Yeah.
Cheers, Bickford.
Cheers, Bickford. We're back, and we thank Bickford for supplying the first beer of the podcast.
And congratulations.
This whole episode now is dedicated to Bobcaygeon Brewery. So Bobcaygeon is a small town just northwest of Peterborough, or just north of Peterborough. The actual brewery is located in Peterborough, though. And we were supplied beers by Bobcaygeon via Franco, who is their sales rep for Toronto area. And he also works at Halo Brewing here in Toronto. So we want to thank you. Thank you so much for providing these. I have had a few of these. My mom and stepdad actually live in near Peterborough. So I've been to the brewery. Bobcaygeon is...
Tragically Hip sing about it?
It was in Bobcaygeon where I saw the constellations.
There you go. You just got to
reveal themselves one star at a time. They do sing about it. And Bobcaygeon is a very beautiful town. It has the best little ice cream shop on the water. They're bordered right on Pigeon Lake, where my parents live. You can take a boat over there and dock the boat and just go to Bobcaygeon. Beautiful branding. I love the branding. I love the logo. This is the Northern Lights. This is their hazy IPA. It's 6.1%. I've had 2 of their beers before. I don't know if I've had this one, but I'm going to. Woo!
Very nice dark golden color. Nice creamy head.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Lower carbonation, the bubbles. That's what you want in a hazier IPA. Yep. And if you pour the rest in your glass.
Okay.
I just want to see. It's probably not filtered. Or maybe it's centrifuged, but yeah, actually, it's probably centrifuged. Or it's from the top of the bright tank, which in that case, thank you.
Ooh.
Or not thank you, depending on the
top sock.
Yeah. All right, let's cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Smell. Juice. That's juice.
Juice time.
That's like mosaic citra.
Yeah. Get some white peach on there.
Yeah. Maybe some
Bartlett pear.
No, that's actually, I'm getting some rose hips. Sorry, I'm getting some tragically hips.
Hey.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, very good.
That is fluffy. It's juicy. It's hazy. It's very full-bodied and very flavorful. The hops are super muted in the bitterness. Very, very prominent on the flavor and aroma.
Doesn't linger long, which is nice.
No, and it cuts off right away. Like it's not a.
Doesn't have like any hop bite to it, which is really wonderful.
No hop burn. No.
You could drink this in 30-degree weather on the lake in Bobcaygeon.
God.
And feel like you're drinking nothing.
It was in Bobcaygeon. Kind of the idea. It was in Bobcaygeon.
That I drank a bunch of.
Hazies. That's really good. What else do they have on the can? Brewed by Bobcaygeon Brewing Company. On the Parkway in Peterborough. Tropical, hazy, juicy. Yep, that's great. Northern Lights, and that's honestly really good to know. And I'm not gonna lie to anybody. If I don't like a beer, I'm not gonna say I like it. I really like a hazy every once in a while. In the summer, I don't typically drink them as much. I like pilsners and lagers, but I would buy a 6-pack of this, and it'd be good to have if you want a hazy. This is very similar to the Rorschach Truth Serum, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, very similar in hop.
Would you have presented this on our IPA sesh?
Yeah. I probably would. This is exactly what I want out of a hazy. It's juicy. It's tropical. It's not floral at all. It has really good.
It's like the right juice, like light.
Yeah.
Light.
Yeah. It's really the full bodiedness, the creaminess of it. They definitely got the water chemistry down to accentuate the flavor of the hops and not any of the bitterness. And the full bodiness of the malt and not a lot of the bitterness that malt can provide. The color is just deep gold.
I like a grapiness in my IPAs, and this has like a nice white grape to it.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that I think Nelson Sauvin, but we have another one we're going to try, and it is literally branded as their Nelson Sauvin
Spoiler alert.
IPA. Spoiler alert, yes. I'm not keeping any secrets from you guys, and you're not keeping any secrets from me. I hope. Are you sure? But Nelson Sauvin's one of my favorite hops.
Yeah.
Because it's Sauvignon Blanc, grapiness.
Yeah.
You can really mimic the finish of
New Zealand origin.
Yep. You can really mimic the finish of a white wine
Yep.
in a beer. And that's what I love. I love being able to represent a different flavor in a beer than just, beer.
I like it as a nice counterbalance to like a Rawaka or
Yeah.
really like
So many
any sort of tropical hop.
like all the New Zealand hops, the like Riwaka, Motueka, even the what's that other one that's really popular? Vic Secret. Vic Secret. I've used all those hops, and Nelson Sauvin is the one that has that white grape sort of characteristic. I do really love Vic Secret as well, but I just think Nelson Sauvin is a little bit more. There's a little bit more going on with that. There, you get a lot more depth of aroma and flavor. I don't know if they've added Nelson Sauvin into this, but if they have an official Nelson Sauvin beer, maybe they only use that hop in that one beer and they were using a little bit in this.
Yeah, and there's no like hop on here. Obviously, we all know that ingredients are water, malted barley, oats, wheat, hops.
What?
Yeast.
What? What is yeast?
They're not going to put.
Have you heard of the
their
Bavarian
hops
Purity
on.
Law of 1516? Hello?
What's
Yeast.
in the air?
What is
man?
yeast?
What's in the air
And
tonight,
why are you-
Phil Collins? You just knocked me out.
That's the hangover.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson just, I can't believe you took a punch from Mike Tyson. I still got it. That's really good. That's honestly, I don't.
Thank you, Franco. That's a tasty
Yeah,
beer.
thank you so much, Franco, for providing these beers because I actually see Bobcaygeon in the LCBO and not Anne. I don't see them in the beer store. Funny
Hey,
enough.
Trevor. Do you hear what's going on with the beer store?
Oh shit! Here we go.
There's transition.
Yeah. So some sad news. There are 30 more beer
Beep, beep,
stores.
beep, 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 beep. We're in Newstown.
Tonight on Breaking News with the Beer Banter podcast.
Yeah, so we, everybody probably knows, but the poor old beer store's taking a hit.
Yeah. And I can't say that I didn't see this coming, but so I live in Distillery here where we film the podcast, and there's a beer store boutique just around the corner. It's a 6-minute walk. It's a really easy place to just load up. You just go get 6 beers, 8 beers, whatever you want. Like outside of Distillery, if you want something other than
It's
Old
8
Flame.
beer.
Huh?
8 beer.
8 beer. 8 beer. Can I get an 8 beer?
You need 8 beer.
But they have singles there and stuff. Their fridges went down, I don't know, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So you can't walk in and grab cold beer. It only works if you want to go grab beer and you plan to have it in your fridge for at least 6 hours so that it gets cold, which is not the greatest, not ideal. So I was wondering, why don't they just get this fixed? And then I was in there last week and the person working there told me that, yeah, it's closing down late July. And I was like,
We
oh,
need to fix
crap.
some shit.
And then on that topic, I went and looked up is it actually closing? And then we found out that 30 more are closing. So there's
That's the news this past few days.
yeah, and
So
this is all across Ontario.
Yeah, so end of July 6th, there's about 12
Yeah,
that are closing, and then more on the 20th, and
yeah,
really
all after Canada Day.
for all, and then August 10th.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's a big hit, and it's crazy because a lot of these places are significant property.
and
They have a big location. They have a
Huge.
parking lot.
Yeah.
They have a loading dock. They are moving product, and now they're not that anymore. So that real estate's going to be up for sale, which is crazy.
Yeah, and beer stores before the beer and convenience stores and gas stations and stuff started up would rarely close down. They would always they would always just be there.
Yeah.
And the one exception I can think of is that there was one in Oshawa, where I'm from, on Ritson Road and Dean Avenue that was there for so long. I remember going there because I used to live near there and had friends that lived near there. I'd go in and, you know, grab whatever. And it closed 10, 11 years ago. And now it's All or Nothing Brew House.
Oh, yeah.
And I can remember going there when I realized it was like just another brewery. I was like, oh, well, I mean, the last time I was in here.
Of all things to convert to, that's a pretty cool one.
It is pretty cool, yeah. Because I can remember joking with my friend who's from Oshawa and who I was meeting there because they allow dogs inside and you can order food in and whatever. We were just sitting in the tap room and I was like, wow, it's so crazy to think like the last time I was here was when I just grabbed like a 2-4 Moosehead and headed up to my mom's in Peterborough for a family like barbecue like 13 years ago or whatever. And then now the next time I'm in here, it's like I'm still consuming beer, but it's like it's different because it's, you know, it's a brewery, not a beer store.
Yeah.
And they still have the conveyor, the little, you know, the rolly conveyors. They just slide your product out to you.
Best. And it smelled like broken glass and old beer.
It still smelled like that too. Just a little bit.
That was like the best part of going in there.
A little bit different.
The roller.
Yeah.
Sort of that funk smell.
Yeah. You always knew when you were in a beer store.
Sticky floor.
If somebody were to blindfold you
like,
and walk you in somewhere and they ask you where you are,
yeah,
you would know.
I would know.
I would know 100%. Yeah.
I would know 100%.
Unless it's a beer store boutique, because that place is clean as it's very immaculate and clean and
sucked because they couldn't even keep the shit cold.
It just sucks because they couldn't keep the shit cold. And closing effective.
A lesson learned also in that is we went in there recently and they refused to turn off the cooling, the glycol, to the refrigerant system. And what does glycol do, Trevor?
It will just heat up. Refrigeration liquid inherently will just maintain its temperature, whether it's cold or hot. And when a pump is running and circulating that liquid, it's going to maintain its temperature. So if there's no refrigeration going on, it's just going to be hot.
So you could get a nice hot tall boil of Bat 50.
Like, I'm so glad that they don't carry craft beer because a lot of that stuff is not pasteurized or filtered. So if they're carrying they're
carrying like some of the bigger guys, obviously, but
like Left Field is the only one that I can think of that's
Great
like
Lakes is in there.
Craft.
Amsterdam.
I mean, even like Left Field is the one that I can think of that's like the smallest of the craft beers, but it's still big enough to be considered big.
Yeah.
Great Lakes is craft as well still. It's great. Love Great Lakes. Their price points are really amazing too. Really good tasting stuff. But they're a big brewery. They're in Etobicoke. They have a pretty big facility.
Yep.
Left Field's main production facility is in Leslieville. It's tiny in there. It's not that big.
Yep.
So I don't know if they don't have a centrifuge.
I don't know.
I don't think they do. If they do,
maybe
they turn it off when they're running Greenwood. I know that for a fact, and I love that. So, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so there we have a bunch of change in our beer consumption options, I guess, but it doesn't also matter because you can get it in any convenience store.
For a price.
But whatever. It's available, and people don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what it's come down to is like, I want accessibility. Certainly here in Toronto. Mm-hmm. And like we can see a lot on there. We got, Ottawas, we got Windsors, we got Ajax, we got Mississaugas and Scarboroughs.
Yep.
Like we have a lot of those areas that are
Amherst View.
Shout out to Amherst View, wherever the hell you are.
Amherst. Hey, don't forget Tottenham.
If we could get one follower from Amherst View for this, that would be great.
Actually, an update on our podcast. We're almost reaching 500 downloads total.
Thanks, everybody.
And 2 new countries this week.
Whoa.
India and Netherlands.
Cool. Deutschland. Yeah, but now that it's in the convenience stores, it's just made it so much easier. But I don't know about you.
I'm just realizing something. Sorry.
God.
Because I was just in Ottawa a couple weekends ago. This is the one that we went to. It's closing.
No
and
way,
it made
Bank
it,
Street?
and I was wondering, because I was sent in there. I was with I was with Christy and my buddy Dave, and we were just.
Dave's not here, man.
He's not here. He's actually in Manitoba now.
Oh,
It's just crazy. And I had to go in and just grab like a 6 to 8 pack of lagers or whatever. I was looking for something specific. I couldn't find anything, and there was barely anything on the shelf. This is why. This is why. The East York location I'm aware of as well. It's kind of close to where Mill Street's production facility is.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah. Not
So
really.
there must be just a massive distribution center somewhere, and that's where it's all coming from now. Everything ships to one big place, and then they ship it to 7-Eleven,
Yeah.
Tom's Grocer, Rabba Foods,
I also
Metro.
want to lend my condolences to Logan and Emmy and all of Logan's family out in Wyerton area. The 690 Bedford Street location is closing. I'm very sorry. Steve and Tom and Logan and
Where they're going to get their cases of blow.
yeah, I mean, Steve loves to jam, and by jam, because he was the guitar player of the Wood Notes for one album, and his idea of jamming or like rehearsing was he would show up at my place in Canmore with a 2-4 of beer and a 40 of whiskey, and he'd be like, "You guys ready to jam?" And I was like, "We're actually trying to make a record here, bro." He's like, "This is how you do it, man." I was like, "We are not Guns N' Roses. We are a folk rock band." But don't get me wrong, I drank a bunch of those beers and drank some of that whiskey. So I ain't no bitch.
Yeah.
Steve, don't fucking ever call me a bitch. So I'll kill you.
But
Love you, Steve.
where will Steve and the rest of us get 2-4s from anymore? Are
Yeah.
those even going to exist?
That's a good question, because so my friend Eric is visiting this weekend from Calgary, and I asked him, like, what's his favorite brown bottle beer, because you can't really get those in Alberta. So, you can't get, I don't even think you can get Labatt 50 in Alberta, because that's like the last pack I got.
That's probably the last case in Ontario, other than outside of Toronto.
Oh my
Or outside of Toronto.
And check out the last episode if you want to check out some of the Labatt 50, because that was
We
our
had
secret
brown bottle
beer.
fun.
We did, and we're gonna have more fun when
tried. We tried.
Jamie can find a brown bottle, if he
I
can.
will find one day.
He will.
Gosh darn it.
Gosh darn it, all the heck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But rolling back from all this beer store closing, I had the pleasure of watching the old Robbie Ford documentary.
Oh, did you watch it already?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Really fun content.
Christy hasn't seen it yet. I downloaded it, but sorry.
Well, you guys will.
Christy
And
hasn't seen it. I can't wait to watch it on Netflix.
we'll bleep out Netflix.
Bleep. I don't fucking
And
have Netflix
so
anymore.
there's a lot of Dougie was obviously Rob's support system in all that.
His older brother, yep.
Yep. And there's just another recent story too that Ontario and Saskatchewan, both the premiers, Doug and Steve
Butabi.
something, Mio.
Doug Butabi, Steve Butabi. You guys brothers? No. Yes.
Yes.
High five. Woo.
Nice. Yeah, they have
broke the window again.
come to an agreement where they want to like do trade between Saskatchewan and Ontario.
Yeah, and that's really good because there are a lot of really good breweries in Saskatchewan.
Probably could grow some great Canadian grain out there
Probably,
in those
yeah.
flat plains.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've broken down the walls a bit, which is really good for Canada.
Great. Yeah.
Because hopefully that eventually moves to
other provinces.
Maybe Alberta.
Mainly Alberta. I'm looking at you, Alberta, because
Talking to you, Alberta.
I'm actually talking directly to my friends at Cabin and my friends at Establishment. Please, guys, just like I just want to go and buy your beer at a
Or you
nice
guys,
little store here.
You guys talk to your premier. And
Yeah,
then we'll find
Talk to
Trevor and I will
fucking-
get Dougie's business card.
Yeah.
And we'll fax it out to you.
Yeah.
And then you guys can work on that.
Yeah, or we'll just keep inviting our friends to stay for free at our place in Toronto. And also,
that's good too.
please just bring a bunch of beer with you and check a bag.
Yeah. Well, we can do that. But in terms of like getting it out here, that's a great thing. But it's a great trade agreement.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't know. It's so silly because I don't think this exists in the States.
No, we just get it everywhere.
Like if you want a juicy bits New England IPA from
You get
Wellworks in Colorado, you can buy it in New York.
yeah. So what in the hell?
I think if you want like a Treehouse beer from Massachusetts, you can buy it in fucking like Rhode Island. I know they're right beside each other, kind of, sort of. Unless
you can get Russian River wherever you want.
Yeah. And I know the problems with people wanting their beer to be fresh. Interesting story about that. Treehouse Brewing, they have like 4 or 5 locations in Massachusetts. They're a huge brewery, but they choose which states they can export to. Mm-hmm. And they don't export to states that are really far away, like say Los Angeles or, Washington or whatever, because they're just not 100% certain that their product will remain fresh enough to be shipped that far and then to like remain fresh. And they're not sure if enough people are going to buy it so that it continues to remain fresh. They're also not sure that it's going to be refrigerated, all that kind of stuff. So I understand like, and they can choose where they export to. So that's perfect for them. And they're a huge brewery. They've opened up like 4 other locations aside from their like main production facility.
Yeah, it's massive.
And they have great beer. I've had some before. It's amazing beer, and they've done a really great job. But them being able to choose where they export to makes total sense. And like you don't have to export 6,000 kilometers across the country if you don't want to. But I'd love to be able to get Alberta beer in Toronto and Ontario,
even if
and
it's
then,
every once in a while.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to get BC beer in Alberta. I lived in Alberta for 13 years. Like, yeah.
So it's like that opportunity is also creating potentially more jobs for people too.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right? Like in Canada, which is what we want right now.
Yeah.
So, and what we don't have enough of is boutique stores.
There's not nearly enough, and the one that I know of is closing.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, it's a beer store boutique, so they still do have a huge control over what they put in there. But they did try and make it. When you walk in on the left side, there's this entire fridge. It's supposed to be a fridge.
The fridge formerly known as refrigerator.
Yeah, it's not cold. It's a warm fridge, so it's whatever. It's all craft. It's all lined up there. Yeah. And it was great, and I was like, wow. I mean, moving here, we're like, okay, well, we have Mill Street here, we have Old Flame that's now here. Great, like I buy those beers all the time. But when you want something a little bit different, you're like, oh, I can just pop over to the beer store boutique. And I can still get craft beer there. I can still buy Left Field. I can still buy Great Lakes. I can still buy,
But I'm talking about like if we have kind of like what Alberta has, and which
we chatted about this on a previous episode.
Yeah, previously, and like
Oak and Vine was my favorite.
Yeah,
and Zinn and Inglewood.
There's so many, and then they still have like a provincially regulated system. So like that duality here would be really wonderful, and maybe that's what old Dougie's working towards for everyone.
Who knows what he's working towards? But
no one knows.
The operative term you said there is work. I don't know if he does a whole lot of that.
Attempting to do.
Yeah.
It's a unique thing that's happening, and it's good, and it's breaking some provincial borders down. And ideally, we can keep up our wall and keep us Canada.
Yeah.
Because Trump's making that a problem, obviously.
You want to build a wall?
Nope. Border? Did I say wall? I meant border. Yeah, it'd be good. Let's get some cross Canada beer mixing going on.
Yeah, I would love that.
Also, we just talked about good old Bickford winning Canadian Brewing Awards.
Heck yeah.
And
Best
then is
new brewery of the year.
anybody in Calgary going to get Bickford Brewing?
Unfortunately, not unless they come here.
Yeah. So but it's Canadian Brewery of the Year.
And
so
I don't
that should be a thing that we should all be able to share. Right?
And I don't know how anybody else picks the places they want to go when they travel, but if I'm traveling to another province in Canada, I want to go to breweries, I already know the good breweries in Alberta. I don't need to. I'll just ask my friends that live there who know if there's anything new that opened up.
They know who they are.
But if I want to go to BC, or if I want to go to Nova Scotia or wherever, I will look at the Canadian Brewing Awards. So I'm going to look at who has won what and where they are.
Yeah.
If I'm going to BC, for instance, I want to know what breweries in BC have won awards, and in the area that I'm going to, if it's worth me stopping by.
For sure.
So that's, and I'd love to be able to, cross-province beer sharing is great.
It's huge.
And I don't necessarily want to have to go there to enjoy the beer. It'd be nice if I could just get some different beer from another province here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help out the Ontario, craft breweries if I'm going out and buying, an 8-pack of a BC brewery or not. But at the same time, it's like
supporting our global economy
in Alberta.
National economy
in Alberta, you can go into a cold room if it's a well stocked liquor store and grab American brews.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's changed now with the tariffs and stuff, but
it must have.
But I used to work part-time at the Sobeys liquor store in Canmore, and we had a whole wall of American beers. I used to be able to buy Anchor Steam beer, and Deschutes and Sierra Nevada and Stone and Oscar Blues, all kinds of stuff. And it's I was still buying a ton of Canadian beer. I was buying Annex and
still mix and pack.
Annex from Calgary, and I was I just love good beer. I don't I'll support where if it's not good, I'm not going to support. I'm not just going to buy Ontario because it's Ontario. I'm going to buy it if it's good.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to support a brewery that I don't necessarily like. I'm not going to chance it, but whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is. But
just breaking down those walls is a good start.
It's a good start. Yeah, it's a small start.
These two provinces that are next to each other, it's a good start. Yeah.
And so since we're talking about friendship,
we got a beer break. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Trevor, we got a new one.
And we're back. I think we got to keep doing that.
And we're back.
And we're back. Yeah, we got a new one from Bobcaygeon. This is the Pale Ale. It's called the Common Loon. It's easy drinking, grapefruit, hoppy is the descriptors they have on the can. It is 4.6%, 36 IBUs. Let's see how this sucker pours.
Tasty.
Let's see how the sucker pours out. I think I know the approximate amount with these glasses now. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Ding. Not a huge nose, nowhere near as much as the Northern Lights, but really subtle.
Nice little citrus.
I am getting some grapefruit. Some
citrus burst
some orangey grapefruit. Oh, that's really clean and crisp.
Yep.
That's 4.6%. I could have a full cooler of these at a summer camping trip.
Now that's the summer crusher.
Yeah.
On the wakeboard.
Something a little bit more hoppy if you you can think of a summer crusher as a lager, but if you like hops and you like a nice...
And a pale ale, a little more bitter.
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's great. That's 36 IBUs. It's a little bit more I'm not
clean.
getting...
It's clean for it.
Yes. It's super clean.
There's a little more bitterness on it, which is nice.
I'm gonna guess like USO5 or Cali Ale, whatever the hell.
Yep.
Wherever you get your clean ale yeast from.
Little splash of wheat in there.
Yeah, there's it's quite a little bit darker than the Northern Lights. Obviously, it's a pale ale. So I mean, it could be like, you know,
Holding
2-row and C40 or something like.
Yeah.
A little bit hazy. They might use some wheat in there.
Yeah, maybe white wheat malt.
Yeah, white wheat's
That's a good one.
Doesn't say wheat, so they usually say wheat. Water, malted barley, hops, yeast. So
Cool.
maybe no wheat.
Nice. So just 2-row, maybe unfiltered.
I think it is. Maybe it's centrifuge. I don't know, but
One quick pass.
not and like super. You know,
the fastest you
have
can
the
go.
bowl spinning pretty slow.
Or
6,400
slow
RPM.
as you can go to just run
Get it in there.
Get those little hop
Get it in there.
pellets out of there.
Just get that just get the solids out of there. Get that yeast creaminess out of there, and
With all the loons and the cabin on the can, I was hoping that we would get a loon call on this second can when we opened it.
yeah. Can you please work on
Work
that?
on that? Can you create something that does that?
Just get the beginning to Bobcaygeon.
Yeah, there it is.
That's
Just put Tragically Hip in the can.
Yeah. Come on, guys, get in there.
Very good.
Very good. So we got a couple more news items to get to. The next one is that Sawdust City Brewing and Lake of Bays Brewing are actually merging together.
Yep.
I saw somebody post on Instagram kind of a funny joke that said, does this mean that Sawdust City beers are going to get bad or that Lake of Bays beers are going to get good? Pew pew. I don't mean to insult anybody. We obviously love Sawdust City a lot.
Yep. Just some good Lake of Bays.
We love them so much. I don't know about Lake of Bays. I can't remember what any of their beers taste like. But we will get some on this podcast, and we'll
I know what it looks like, but I don't remember.
I know what it looks like as well. I know their branding and stuff, and I've chatted with them a couple times here and there with Henderson, trying to get some stuff contracted there. It just didn't work out. But yeah, I don't know. I can't comment on what they're just they're a very big brewery.
I love me some Lone Pines.
Yeah, love Lone Pine. Really love the Bone Pine they did collab with Third Moon and Beer Town. We obviously covered that on episode 6, I think it was. And then
Actually, you forgot one as well. Merit Brewing out of Hamilton is part of that.
oh, were they as well?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't on the can.
Trifecta.
They were not on the can.
Um,
They weren't on the can, Merit. You weren't on the can. We have a Merit in the fridge right now.
Hey,
It's
cool.
their whip beer,
hey, yeah.
but it's not for me, so we can't drink it. Yeah,
Um,
it's for the dog.
You know, like this kind of shit is happening more and more, and it, like, I hate to say it, but it makes sense.
Mergers do make sense.
Like the costs of everything now. Steel sucks.
Yeah.
Liquid sucks.
Sometimes you also outgrow your facility. Sometimes.
Yeah, and then you just have to branch out, and then it makes sense to just join forces with somebody else that can bring all of the products together and be able to utilize all your resources and get it out there. And in this day and age, we all know that people are struggling out there, and real estate's not getting any cheaper.
Yeah.
And if you're just sitting on a brewery that isn't operating with a bunch of steel and there's nothing happening there, it sucks. That's a lot of money just sitting there not doing anything. So
Also,
then there's that one over there too. So like what you know, you need to branch out and create these opportunities for all the parties involved. And it also creates more jobs as well, but also sort of, I don't know, does it eliminate some? I don't think so. You're creating more brewing jobs because you are brewing more liquid now.
Yeah.
And then you have more of a sales force, you have more people out there doing the things, packaging, doing all that stuff. And it's just, I don't know. That's kind of like what you have to do now.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you start outgrowing the facility that you operate in, like you have to start looking at all your options. Do you buy more tanks? Do you buy a facility where you can maybe move all the production to, or do you just merge with somebody who already has it all set up? And sometimes that's the easier option, because then you have a deal in place, and it's kind of just like contract brewing at that point, where it's just like, okay, we need a batch of this, and it's going to cost you like, say, $5,000 for this 20 hect batch of this. And you know the price point that you're setting your cans at, or your whatever you're packaging, cans or kegs at, and you can project like, okay, well, this $5,000 batch is going to yield us whatever % profit. And so then you don't have to factor in like, oh, like what if we have to buy, like, it's already into the other facility. So you don't have to like factor in cost of buying new equipment, like installing it, getting it all set up, which is, insane. Like, geez, just opening a brewery is insane. You gotta
insane.
Yeah.
Well, when you when you think of like you're merging with joining forces with another company, you're gonna get a better deal on ingredients.
Exactly. Yeah, that too.
So you're also like saving there, and the old adage of it was brewed here and that's the original recipe. It's always every recipe evolves, no matter what it is, like beer or restaurant. Yeah. Like anything, it's gonna there's tweaks and changes that you have to make. You have to accommodate what the cost of ingredients are, and you got to make those moves.
Yeah, and I don't think that anybody should really think about it as Lake of Bays beers taste like this, so Soda City beers are going to taste like this. I mean, I have so much respect for Soda City and their beers. Not that I don't have for Lake of Bays, I just don't know them enough to comment on it, but they're going to get the results that are expected from people buying cans of their beer out of Lake of Bays, for sure. Yeah. They're going to get Lone Pine tasting exactly like they intend, or else they wouldn't have even agreed to this merger.
Yeah. And same with Merritt and Hamilton. Yeah. They're on a main street, but they're a small little facility.
Tiny.
And now they're doing so good that they probably can't keep up with the demand. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, what other way do we get out of this and maintain what we're doing and keep making money and keep making our beer? Yeah. And another massive component is having a restaurant, because restaurants are asses in seats and feeding food, and food is cheaper than making beer. So if you can turn food around faster, then you're creating that profit for the better of your business. And you can see that with all of the, let's call it the big B's in Toronto, Bellwoods, Burdock, and Blood Brothers. Yeah. They all have production facilities.
Not Bandit?
But you cut that out. They all have production facility, and they all have now what was probably formerly their brew pub is now the restaurant. Yeah. And then the restaurants are always packed full of people, and then they're cranking liquid out.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say 3 brewers.
3 brewers, yeah, they're really doing great.
Louis Cypher Beer Works, hello. Yeah, I mean,
right? That's what even Great Lakes, another great example. Open a brew pub up, still have their production facility. Now they got a great restaurant and brew pub.
That's a really cool way to do it. That doesn't, nobody kind of wrote the plan on that. I think it just kind of happened. They had some money. They were able to do that, open up in a really trendy location right underneath a huge condo building in a really nice spot. Everything's brand new. So nice in there, the GLB Brew Pub here. It's really nice at the brewery as well. I just think that they're probably killing it with that location opened and them being able to feed that location with tons of beer. Although they do brew on premise. They still do brew there. They're one-offs and stuff. Yeah. At GLB Brew Pub. But
But
Yeah, it's just-
whether they do or they don't, like,
They have a really good kitchen.
I mean, there's another one downstairs, Old Flame.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they got a nice little spot there. Don't brew on site anymore, but they got good food coming in and out there. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's in a high visibility area. But
They have a big production facility out
you
in
gotta really-
Newmarket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it seems like you can keep your own thing if you move into that direction.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to join forces.
And I really like that model that Old Flame has made, at least in distillery here, where dogs are allowed inside and they only have pop-ups in this storage container style restaurant area in the back. And they have pizzas now. They have pop-ups there every once in a while. They had like Japanese style like charcoal grilled meats at one point. They had like all these different little food pop-ups. But dogs are still allowed inside.
Yeah.
And it's great because, you know, I live in a distillery and I have a dog.
Yeah.
If I want to pop in and have a beer or two while I'm like walking my dog after I'm done walking her back from the park or whatever, you still pop in there and just have a beer with her.
Yeah.
And they have all these old couches and
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. It's a fun vibe.
That's like, I think that's what I really think breweries should try and gravitate towards, because we've been out in a small town with our dog and like we'll just say it out loud. We were at Willibald and it's a small town in Ayr and small-ish
Like the air?
area, AYR.
Oh, that one.
Not the movie with Matt Damon based on the Michael Jordan sneaker, which is also great. Watch that. Yeah, we were there. We wanted to pop in and have a pint, but we were with our dog. Oh, sorry, we don't allow dogs in. We have a full kitchen. It's like, you're in the middle of nowhere and we're here probably going to have beer. And if you had a pop-up, we would have had food as well.
Yeah.
Made money for your pop-up. Then we would have bought beers to take back to our
probably drop like
hotel.
$150, $200.
But instead you get nothing. Like, I understand when a brewery wants to have a full kitchen. Like, I understand, but in a small town like that, in like not even a small town, it was on a farmland. It's on farmland. Like, you don't allow dogs into your facility and you're on farmland. Like,
Weird.
how many people? What is your restaurant making that you don't allow?
Do they grow on the farm?
What?
Anything?
I have no idea. I think it's like chickens and like cows and stuff. Like, I don't know.
Because there's one out in Caledon, Good Lot. Shout out to them.
Love Good Lot.
Love Good Lot. It's literally a farm.
Yeah,
And-
we've been there numerous times.
Yeah, and it's great.
We've been inside the main part. We've been outside on the patio where the little
There's like patios everywhere because it's
yeah.
all
There's
just
little sections of
little
everything.
pods, and there's hop fields and like
Yeah, the hop fields are cool too.
fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
dogs
fantastic.
are allowed everywhere.
yeah.
And speaking of that, that's a perfect example of dogs are allowed inside. There was a pop-up. He was doing New England style clam chowder with little garlic breads.
Easy on the R there.
Hello, clam chowder.
Thank you.
Chowder, it's chowder. I'll kill you. I'll kill all of you, especially those of you in the jury. Simpsons. That's a clip. Yeah, but we were there coming home from Owen Sound a couple months ago. Popped in there with a pup because we know she's allowed in there, and like it was a colder day. It was still like snow on the ground. They had the wood fire going. Buddy was making New England style clam chowder.
Yeah.
And the dog was with us, you know, just drinking some
Lovely
darker
day,
beers.
lovely day. Lovely day.
Yeah,
lovely
Bill Withers
day.
and me and
Love,
Luna
lovely
and
day.
Christy would have gotten
Yeah,
along so well.
Nice. So
like if they
nice.
had been playing that song, it would have been like the best.
Yeah, it's nice.
Instead, like there was an open mic guy who was actually singing some pretty good stuff.
And I've been there, and there was like Jamaican food, and then
yeah.
Mexican, like there's like the food truck's always good,
Yeah.
but it's always like a mainstay, I think, for a good period of time. So it's like they treat it like a restaurant. And like that's kind of the thing is like you need to have like a solidified food program.
Yeah.
And even I think with like Blood Brothers, they have sort of like their kitchen is kind like it's a solid kitchen, but it's like meant to be pop-up style that they can like change all the time.
Yeah.
And now they have like one side's sort of more restaurant. I don't know if pets are allowed, but then they have the other side that's more like open and you picnic table-y and like Bellwoods, they have the one side. The main place now is restaurant.
Yes.
And then the like bottle shop side, the little patio, you can get,
Of course.
you can drink a beer there.
Patios are...
They got some snacks.
Yeah. Patios should always be dog friendly.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But another thing about pop-ups too, like any food provider who's doing a pop-up is not just a small business, probably one of the smallest businesses you could ever support.
Yeah.
So if there's a brewery,
It's also a guy struggling.
if there's a guy, a girl, whoever the hell it is,
struggling.
whoever it is, they're struggling. And when a brewery in a small town like Ayr has a full kitchen, like I understand, like it's whoever the owners are, of course, it's up to them what they want. But I would much rather you be able to bring your dog in there and you have a small business food pop-up in there, because you're supporting it in so many ways. Like you're already a small business because you're a brewery in a small town.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to support small business by having a food pop-up in there? Maybe it's not super consistent. Maybe it's in such a small area where they don't get a lot of pop-up people. But like, honestly, I don't know. Figure it out. Like, just let my dog in there. It's a concrete floor with picnic tables. It's basically like an outdoor patio inside, and yet there's like a pass there. There's like a whole full like flat top, and people are just like, it's like McDonald's back there. I'm like, I don't want that. I want a small fucking.
Could they put like a patio on the front?
No, sorry, they have a patio, but it's not heated, and it was winter.
Oh, I see.
Like it was like close to winter. It was like March, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like patio weather. And of course you allow dogs in the patio, but like we drove out of our way there, and I was trying to call them to ask if dogs were allowed. I was like, I'm sure it is. It's a farmland. We go there like, oh no, sorry, we don't allow dogs. Like I don't know. It just seemed like they were pretentious to me. But unfortunately their beer is really good. I'll say it. Like their beer is good. And I wanted to support them.
Rules are rules.
Yeah. So whatever.
And that's maybe the hard part too, is like it sort of eliminates an audience that there's a beer crowd that wants to go to do that exact thing. But now these places are turning into restaurants to be able to support themselves, and they have to abide by the rules, you know?
Yeah. You know what's really funny though too about like you brought it up a bit ago about like people cook food all the time. Nobody brews beer at home that are going to like probably like less than 1% of your patrons daily are brewing beer at home. They're coming to your facility for beer. Anybody can cook anything they want at home because you can find it anywhere. Breweries are resorting to serving food so that they can serve you and make money.
The beer that they make.
With the beer that they make, but it's the beer that should be making money because nobody brews beer at home.
Yeah.
But it's
weird
it's
dichotomy.
so crazy. But I do think it's very different in Ontario because we pay 8 times more taxes in Alberta, and we pay way more than any other province.
Yeah.
So I do understand why Ontario's different, and if Willibald has to have a kitchen to make their money, it's all the power to them. I just wish I could bring my dog because I love my dog. She's really cute. Look at my dog. Look at my dog.
It's just I feel like it's reality now, and there we have it. There's like another example. We know, like, we have our friends at Hendo and Bench and
Royal City out in Guelph.
There's another like trifecta of things happening for a group of companies.
Yeah.
And they all have a space that does that.
Yeah.
Bench has a restaurant. Henderson now is an event space. I don't know anything about Royal City other than they have a can that's orange.
Me either. I've seen some videos of their tap room. I've never actually been there, but
Cheers. Cheers, Royal City.
Yeah, I mean,
You
like,
can sponsor anytime.
yeah. All right.
Hey, pals.
Hey, we're back.
Hey, Banter pals.
All right, we're on the last beer of the episode, and again, thank you to Bobcaygeon Brewery and Franco from Bobcaygeon. He has
Bobcaygeon and Franco.
lovingly provided these brews. I actually had a horrible time going to pick them up. Jeez, I had to go all the way to Halo and have a bunch of beers and meet some friends. It was and brought our dog. It was such a horrible time.
Jeez.
It was great. I also love Halo.
I thought you said
we're
we're
feature.
going to Bobcaygeon.
Well, it was in Bobcaygeon
Oh.
that I saw the constellations. But yeah, thank you so much. This is our last one we're going to feature. He did give us 6 beers, but we can't drink that much because it is a school night.
And we want to keep communicating.
Yeah, and we do. So we'll probably keep those in the fridge and drink them on a future episode. Also, they're available in the LCBO. They have a great...
All of them?
So these are all... I think most of them are in an IPA 6-pack of tall cans. They have a boxed 6-pack in the LCBO. They're available at certain locations. LCBO is pretty good with keeping up their stock on their site, so check where they are. But you can get singles at the LCBO. You can get their packs in the LCBO, and obviously go to the brewery if you're in Peterborough. And please support very local small brewery. So we're gonna open this up. This is the Nelson Sauvin IPA.
Sorry, 1 second.
Fair winds.
It was in Bobcaygeon. Imagine saying that every time you open a can.
With working on my mind. One of my favorite parts of that song is that they mentioned Toronto. That night in Toronto, those checkerboard floors, riding on the horseback. Checkerboard floors, by the way, is the Horseshoe Tavern
old
they're
Horseshoe.
talking about. Yeah.
Quick one. Hey, Dad. Dad's always wanted to see Horseshoe. Never got around to it.
Oh shit.
And just recently, Jeff Martin from the Tea Party, shout out Tea Party, Windsor Band, he played there a solo set and did all David Bowie.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so he played like Jeff Martin from Tea Party playing all David Bowie at the Horseshoe.
And it feels now just like heaven's going down. And it
Here we
feels
go.
now.
So,
Sweet.
Nelson, we've been talking about that for a bit.
That's quite a bit sweeter than...
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Like, I mean, this one was very full-bodied, but not like super, super sweet. This one's very sweet. Interesting.
Trying to... There's like I want to say like, what's that blade of grass that's really thick? Not like lemongrass, none of that shit. Like in a field, it's probably like a weed, but it's like, or like a rough grass, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah, I
get
know
like a bite of like bitterness from that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
When you used to do the like,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
kind of get like that taste off of it.
For sure, yeah. A little bit. Wow, very sweet, though.
Yeah, it is.
Not in a bad way. It's...
Does a gooseberry peach hazy.
Yeah.
You get the peach on this. That's probably
Definitely. I wonder if they're
probably like
using liquid hop product. Just to get a little bit more... little bit more...
Jazz it up a bit.
Yeah, just also to like get a little bit more...
Juice out of it.
Just not to like have all these dry hops suck up your volume, you know?
Yeah. That does help big time.
It does help. And liquid hop products are so good now that you can barely tell whether it's dry hopped with real hops or with liquid hop product, as long as you're doing it properly. So, yeah, I am getting a lot
This
of
one
notes.
was like white peach.
Yeah.
And then this one is like ripe peach.
Ripe. Yeah. And
Hard R.
I'm getting a lot more like gooseberry from this than that for sure. And that's like obviously Nelson Sauvin's known for that.
But I didn't even get gooseberry on that one. But I can see
I guess,
on this one.
Yeah. I really like this, but if I were buying a 6-pack of just one of these types, I'd go for this. I do like this a lot, though.
Just for like drinkability.
Yeah, this is just like when I'm going for a hazy IPA. This is exactly what it should taste like.
Yeah, and I think that's the idea. And then using a unique hop IPA, a singular hop, if you call that a smash, almost maybe.
I mean, I'm sure it's not a smash because they definitely use
malted barley oats, wheat.
Yeah, they're definitely using some wheat malt and oat malt and some base malt in there. Yeah,
but that's a unique IPA.
Yeah, it is very unique. I do like this a lot. If I had a glass that's in a brewery, I would enjoy it a lot. But just out of these three, I'd buy this one. I just think this was really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, I just get upset with breweries that try and obviously hazy IPA has become a very popular beer style.
Oh yeah.
In the last 5 years, and there are so many breweries that will try to do a hazy IPA, but you can tell that they're just trying to get the volume out and trying to make it make sense for their profits. And you buy a can of it, it's like it's not hazy, it's not juicy, it's not full bodied, it's not, and sometimes it is clear, and it's just like,
the fuck's
what are you doing? Yeah. Why are you trying to sell me this crap? Like, I don't put hazy IPA on it if you haven't brewed a hazy IPA ever before and you're just trying to capitalize on the market share of that, because it's just, I'm never going to buy beer from you again. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
I wish I could tell you who I was talking about, but I can't.
Someone could probably guess in the comments.
There's at least 4 or 5 breweries that I bought beer from in the last 2 years. And like we were talking about on our IPA episode, I think it was like the second episode or something, when we were, sharing each other's favorite hazy IPAs from Toronto, local. I had to like refine my favorite hazies because I came from Alberta and I knew exactly the beers that I would want to buy. Yeah. And so I had to like find again my favorite hazies, and it was a struggle because I bought a bunch that I had never tried.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't lived in Ontario in 13 years. So I'm like back. There's a lot of new breweries out there. I was a sucker. I went to the LCBO. I went to some, this beer store boutique. It's closing now. And I bought a bunch of what you would call hazy IPAs. And I just brought them home and I was just like, this is not a hazy IPA. It's not.
Yeah.
Like,
you went to the wrong place.
At best, they were a pale ale.
You went to the wrong place to start.
I mean, I went to the LCBO and the beer store. Where else can I go in Ontario?
That's on you.
But this is before.
Yeah.
So where else can I go?
Yeah.
Nowhere.
Except
for the breweries themselves.
You have to go to the breweries.
Yeah. But I knew that, like, obviously I've been in Rorschach. I know that they're killing it. Their hazy IPAs are probably the best. I put those up against the best in the city.
And you said that was your like OG, so that's why it's your favorite.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't go and buy those beers at the LCBO, because if I want to go and buy those beers, I'll go to the brewery and buy those.
Yeah.
So if I'm in an LCBO, I'm going to look at beers that I don't necessarily live near the brewery, so I'm going to go buy them. Oh, this is hazy. Okay, go on, buy them. Another shout out to like another brewery who's killing it in Ontario that I haven't been to yet, but I plan to go there soon because I really want to support, is Slake out in Prince Edward County. If you see Slake in the LCBO and you want a hazy IPA or just like a fluffy,
I think their pale ales.
Their pale ales are great too.
Yeah, fantastic.
But and even their lagers are really good too. They have an amazing pilsner as well.
Yeah.
I had it on tap at Waterworks Food Hall just a couple days ago. Delicious, amazing. Anything by Slake, please go support them. Very, very small brewery out in Prince Edward County. And yeah, so if you see anything Slake, everyone's about price per can sometimes when they're at the LCBO. Like, oh, this is $4 a can. This is $4.50 a can. It's like, just get it. Like,
you know what shit costs nowadays? Everything costs money.
If you're going to the LCBO and you have one of their 8-pack cardboard carrier things, and you're just going to buy 8 beers, say maybe they're all different, or even if some of them are the same, if one IPA one beer costs $3.95, another one costs $4.50, and one of them is fucking horrible and the other one's delicious. Are you really going to care about saving 55 cents? I don't fucking think so. Go, if you see Slake out there, go buy it.
Also,
see Bobcaygeon, go buy this one. They're all delicious.
What we've just been talking about is all of this merger and shit. It's support your local.
Support local.
All across the country, all across the provinces.
Yeah.
Support your local brewery.
I do say...
Buy local.
Yeah.
It sucks. It costs more money. But, you know, at the end, we're all middle-income people.
Yeah.
I think we're all trying to get there.
Yeah, so I don't know. This has been a really good chat. We've covered a lot of topics. As always, we're going to have more for you guys. Just want to remind you to smash the like button if you like this on YouTube and subscribe.
Yeah.
Really helps out the channel. And give us a 5-star review anywhere you listen to podcasts. That helps us out as well. It's all for free. We have a website, beerbanterpodcast.com. We have a donate button. If you want to donate to the pod, we will go and visit a brewery of your choice. Just drop it in the old comments or drop it in the comment box with your donation.
And recommend the places.
The places, yeah.
Even if you don't have to donate, we'll try and make it work.
And shout us out your best Pilsners in Ontario, and we're gonna...
That's right.
We're going to review those on the pod because it's summertime and we want to crush some Pilsners. So
all Ontario Pilsners, shout them out.
Yeah.
Trevi Metal and I are going to mix them up, and then we'll guess what they are, and we will not be able to figure it out.
And if you don't recommend any of Pilsners to us, we'll have to pick our own. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do the work. Please tell us your favorite Pilsners in Ontario, and we will get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the Beer Banter podcast, that's Jamie.
That's Trevor.
And as always, life's too short.
Drink great beer.
Drink great beer.
See you, buddies.
Cheers.